Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go! Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for?
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the Unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. And I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear it for Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula bore formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes. Do you think that worked? I think that worked for sure. How we doing at that, Gina Ricci? It is Fun Friday. You ready to rock and roll?
Yes, sir.
Who do we have today?
First, Sean Callaghy from Bergen County, New Jersey. She's an award-winning sales executive since the late 80s, instrumental in helping to build Thomson Reuters into the powerhouse that it is today. Put your hands together. Join me in welcoming Ms. Donna Bernard.
Donna, how are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
What's a fun fact that would be like, no way?
Right now, I co-host a very popular radio talk show, 360 Talk Radio for Women.
Beautiful things on this Fun Friday. Gina, we have a conversation with women, for women, about women, acceleration, and who else we have, Gina?
Another woman from Princeton, New Jersey. She's real estate and tax appeal litigation attorney, 30 years, partner at Fox Rothschild. Sean, please, everyone, join me in welcoming Elizabeth Hampton.
Elizabeth, how are you?
I am great. Thank you.
Well, super appreciative for you being here. It is awesome. And please, what's a fun fact about you?
Well, I wish I had a great one like Donna. A fun fact for me is that I like to tap dance, which has helped me out in the courtroom immeasurably.
Next, from Hackensack, New Jersey, this gentleman started his career as an auditor at Pricewaterhouse, Sean, and he is saving business owners and real estate investors millions, has been saving them millions for 15 years. Please, everyone join me in welcoming Jay Gutman.
Jay, how are you?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. PwC alum Paul Criscuolo is our in-house counsel at Callaghy Law. So from one PwCer to another, Paul says hello, I'm sure. Please tell us your fun fact.
Fun fact, I love my family, my 3 young kids, my wife. Love what I do. And the sky is the limit for what I envision multiple different avenues of the future.
Gina, who else we got on Fun Friday? Come on, Gina.
Let's go. Our final guest today, one went into the multiverse. I don't know if he's coming back, but for now, our final guest from River Edge, New Jersey, a partner at Chaconis and Pettit forensics accounting firm. One of his accounts, Sean, is the Major League Baseball, handling any claim filed by any team in the majors and the minors. And this gentleman helps people after all kinds of, superstorms and hurricanes and all kinds of disasters. He is there. Please join me in welcoming Mike Shakonis.
And how about your fun fact?
A simple fun fact is I'm a big Giants football fan. I'm a season ticket holder. I've gone to their last 2 Super Bowls. Enjoy spending a lot of time in Long Beach Island during the summer.
Gina, does that bring us up to our co-host?
Sure does.
This woman started selling crafts on her front lawn as an 8-year-old, progressed to being a 7-figure earner in the space of network marketing, and then she moves on to becoming not the number 5, 4, 3, or 2, but the number 1, numero uno, talk about women power, business broker in the state of Nevada, youngest person ever to do it, and in a male-dominated industry, first woman ever to do it. Now she helps people build their sales forces, make magic happen, consulting on the incredible superpower of human influence and how it scales, builds, grows companies. The co-host, The Real Raw, my better half, the one and only Bella Rita. Let's welcome Bella. We got a fun fact for you.
I'm going to go with my fun facts. I don't think I've ever shared this on The Real Raw. And my fun fact is I was also a CASA in New Jersey, not in New Jersey, but in San Diego, and would love to get involved in New Jersey because I do have a passion. Someday I want to adopt a couple of children. And so children in foster care in that system have always been something that has been near and dear to my heart.
And Belle, thank you for everything that you do, your heart, your empowerment, and your craziness and fun. Gina, we love you. Mwah. Peace out from the multiverse and LBI on a cloudy, rainy day. But we love you and we thank you.
Thank you. Love you too. Have fun, everyone.
So we had a little fun, made a couple introductions, but here's the dynamic. We all want to make the world a greater place, maybe. We want to have a little bit more magic in our life. We want to all kind of build, scale, grow things to a point, but that all comes from the superpower of human influence. And we bifurcate that conversation into integrous influence and non-integrous influence. So we're not talking about pitching, hooking, or closing. We're talking about the heart-centered dynamics that cause our marketing, our selling, our managing, our leading, our fundraising, our recruiting, for-profit, not-for-profit, all of it to build, grow, and scale. So Bella will be anybody you want her to be.
She could be a prospective volunteer for CASA then.
Oh, well, that's a pretty easy one, Elizabeth. Right. So Bella, how about this? You're super busy, and this is before you've ever been a part of CASA. You're you.
Okay.
And you're like, I don't have time for this. I do want to help out, but I don't have time. Like, go from there. Please, Bella.
Okay. Was definitely true.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Bella.
Bella, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. One of my passions is helping children, especially in the state of New Jersey, right outside my door. There are so many children in the foster care system that don't have anyone to speak for them. And we would love for you to consider assisting them by becoming an advocate, because we think you would be wonderful at trying to help these children navigate a system when they have really no one to speak up for them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've been part of CASA before. My biggest challenge now, Elizabeth, is I travel a lot for work. It's sometimes like every other week. Like I'm going to be gone, all next week. And so I worry about, because I remember from what I remember before is, we got together. I think the minimum was once a month. I can't remember if it was twice a month. But yeah, I fear that do I actually have the bandwidth and the time? We have events almost every night of the week, with work, with our companies. And so, just worry about like, can I actually give the time to the organization that is needed?
I totally get that, Bella. Being a busy litigator myself, it's very difficult to carve out time for anything. But that's why I chose to carve out time for this endeavor, which is helping children. And the great thing about it now is that we've learned a lot of lessons through COVID. First of all, we've learned that children during that time were not being served in many ways, especially our foster care children. And so now what we've done is we've adopted a new plan where we do much of our training via Zoom. So you can pick it up online, you can schedule meetings to coordinate with your schedules. So there are now so many different opportunities that we didn't have before for busy individuals like you to try to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, it would be worth a conversation because don't you still think like get together with the kids in person or no?
Yes, although we are somewhat limited right now because of COVID requirements. But again, getting together with the child can be done, completely at your convenience. And that's something that we can certainly work out. And the other meetings we can do via Zoom. There's so many ways to be involved, and someone with your passion, we would just love to have you join and help our children.
Beautiful. Well, that sounds very, very interesting, and I look forward to seeing if there's a possibility there.
Thank you, Bella. Made my day. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bella, who's going now?
I think this is Miss Donna.
Donna, who would you like Bella to be? So you want to
a board, the CEO or someone who was deciding whether to bring me on as a board member.
Awesome. Okay, so Bella, you're a boss.
Hello, this is Bella.
Oh, hi, it's Donna Bernard. So
Hi,
I know
Donna, how are you?
Good. We've met several times, and I know we've had deep conversations about the issues that are facing you at your company.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to several times about the fact that your board is just like they vote on teams, and there's just a lack of real deep knowledge to what you're really trying to transform and move your company forward to success into the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. That is definitely true. Those are some of the challenges that we have found. Yeah.
Yeah. And I found that really interesting. And before I would even think about being a board member, I was a board advisor, because there's a fiduciary responsibility to being a member of the board. So if it works out that this is something that I am interested in, I'm very familiar with what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. What do you see, if we bring you in, what value do you feel like you would bring to our organization?
Well, since you're an organization, you have a big financial operations, right? A lot of money is moving through the back office, and everyone seems to never know where it is. So I have a strong background in financial software sales on that financial statement, that quarterly close, what your numbers really are. And it's been very disappointing when you find out from these large companies that they're actually reconciling their books on Excel spreadsheets. And
Yeah.
I saw one of your GLs, because companies have multiple general ledgers, and $312 billion runs through those veins.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's time that not only it's a check the box moment, but that we really make some changes in your organization, and I can be a good impact or understand the questions to ask. Because if you don't know the questions to ask, you don't know how to solve the problem. And
Very,
so many
very
people
true.
don't know the questions to ask or who to do business with. It's not who's going to trust me, it's who's going to deliver what I need delivered, which is a robust financial system, so I always can put my finger on my cash position as I make decisions as a CEO. And currently, you don't have that.
That is very true, Donna. Thank you so much for, just caring about our company so much and having so much insight. And I definitely think it would be worth having a longer conversation for sure.
Let's get to the judges. So, Bella, who's going to give some feedback first?
Yes. So let's start with Michael. Michael, we're going to give 30 seconds of feedback both to Elizabeth and Donna. And in this 30 seconds of feedback, we're going to give, something that they did awesome and great, and, maybe something that could be optimized, and then a score of 1 to 10.
Well, I have to admit, I was a little confused because they were both so convincing that it seemed like it was all legitimate. Would I fly on a private jet to follow that? I don't know. I don't know I'd do that, but
And Michael, and by the way, you've built a wonderful practice and done awesome things. If you're going to give one piece of advice to people in building a professional services firm and how to make that work and operate,
the advice that I give to my employees is all about customer service. I tell everyone, people will forgive you for making a mistake. You can make a mistake on some calculation, it could be a large mistake. People understand that. What people do not understand is not getting a return phone call or making people wait a long time. That's just not acceptable.
Bella, please.
Next we have Jay. Jay, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Donna and then your 30 seconds of feedback from Elizabeth?
I think they were both great. Elizabeth, very quick on your feet. It's like you've done this before. You knew a lot about the subject matter. When Bella just said like, oh, I'm not really interested, I travel, you had the answers already prepared. It's like you already trained in that type of call, which was good to see. And Donna, I mean, a lot of facts and a lot of information as well. You knew what you were talking about, and you were trying to get that across to Bella. Like just trying for her to understand your end, and also to understand what you were saying to her, so she could get on your side. And it was great as well.
Well, thank you for that, Jay. Great job. So private jet, or like dentist, or perhaps a cup of coffee?
Perhaps a cup of coffee on both. Definitely not private jet material. I wasn't really, I couldn't fully relate to each side of it. Like it was a topic that I would like to know more, but also, thrown into it on this call to be like, wait, what are they actually talking about here? What's going on? What's happening?
Jay, I love the opportunity to take someone as smart as you and do a little reverse role play with Sean and put Sean on the hot seat like Donna and Elizabeth were, to come up with a scenario for him that you would like to see him go from hello to yes.
I guess convince us why we shouldn't move out of the state for multiple reasons.
Ooh, all right. So how about
retirement?
Yes, for retirement. Understood. And so Jay, would you, and because this is like a one-on-one hello to yes. Okay. So Jay, would you like to select, would it be you or anybody else that's here that I will be attempting to convince to stay in New Jersey in their retirement?
Donna said retirement, so I'm all for that one. I guess convince Donna why she shouldn't be moving down to any other place for retirement.
All right.
Ooh, this is going to be good. Great one, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you all. So Donna, first of all, thank you so much for being here today. And I am super impressed by everything that you've done. My listening of you tells me that you're someone that has a true larger consciousness and intention to make beautiful and great things happen in the world. And so I'd ask Donna, where does that come from?
Oh, it would take more than 2 seconds. I've had a very rich life of being wealthy, then having nothing, then having to recreate myself, to having a father leave us with nothing when we were young children, to moving to Bayside, Queens, the year of desegregation, and navigating through a high school of a new world, of a new life, to always wanting to be independent and supporting myself, to have a career that when I graduated college, they wanted to know how fast I was going to type. And I said, I'm going to be an executive. I don't type. It's how fast that person types. So it comes from true grit, but having integrity, because I did it the right way. I never gamed a contract. I played like there were guardrails, because right now there are no guardrails. And I did things that I could put my head on the pillow at night and knowing I always did the right thing. I give back to first generation university students at NJCU in Jersey City. So sure, I don't have a heart, but I have a strong mind, and I want to help people on having a better life. And it's a strong middle class, because I know people that are super wealthy and that are miserable. And I know people that have nothing and are happy. And there were many people on the food line, some of them working inside and coming around and getting food for themselves. So we need a stronger middle class, and there's a lot broken in New Jersey.
Amen.
And this country.
Amen. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your clarity. As the grandson, as a blind man, the grandson.
I thought you said you were blind. So that's another conversation that we'll have, because we work with many blind people. And it's been astonishing to me, the people I've spoken to in the past year and a half. And we have one of the women who's the past chapter president in Colorado of Fighting Blindness. So it's been something where who knew the past year I've been involved.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. And
Sight challenged.
Yeah, thank you. As the grandson of a blind man, a visually impaired man, and myself as well being blind, and the grandson also of a woman who became one of the first women realtors in Jersey City when my grandfather was blind. Neither one of them graduated from high school. And having to support a family and 5 kids with a blind husband, I am fully present to the dynamics of the middle class. I am fully present to the dynamics of gender bias and all of its beautiful complexities and pains and issues. And for people who want to make things greater and better. And as you've shared, Donna, I agree that New Jersey is in an interesting and complicated place. So as you envision your future, and P.S., I was born in Jersey City. Thank you for helping out Jersey City. I was born in Margaret Haig Hospital. So what do you see for the future of New Jersey and your future as it relates to New Jersey?
Well, right now I'm at a crossroads because my house is on the market and I'm deciding whether to stay or not. But I have deep roots in New Jersey because I raised my family here. And deep roots in Jersey City. Now, there's a quadrillion. One of the reasons I liked your website was 1 + 1 = $1 trillion. And there's $1 trillion running around New Jersey that is not accounted for. And I work with some students, and I do have everything to me has always been new technology. And, it's almost like amnesty for the past because we didn't have the tools and the skills that we had before. Amnesty for pre-pandemic. You can't go back. You can't get a gazillion Excel spreadsheets, as Michael and Jay will probably attest, and I'm sure Elizabeth, you've seen many. No one can know what's in those numbers. And I've seen the numbers and I've seen what AI reveals in those numbers. But I have some software, specific things that I want built that I think will make it a much better state. And if I have the opportunity, I will do that. I've been speaking to several people, and it's if we get funding and if we make it happen. But it's only going to happen, it'll be a check the box if someone else does it. Thomson Reuters, as we got bigger, they had check the box moments, and it was just like, okay, we did it. I'm not a check the box person.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Your intention and your heart are fully present.
And I will say with truth, I have vision for you for this.
Well, thank you. And so we're at
and I want you to know, my vote is for Elizabeth, because I would want to take a plane with Elizabeth and we can go anywhere we want because, you look at the 2 women who decided to be participants versus the judges. So Elizabeth and I, we can go anywhere together because I think she's amazing.
And by the way, Bella, that's how Bella got here. She was a participant originally. But as we come to a pause in our role play, here's what I would say. The great state of New Jersey, and may I share just for a moment, in the last 30 seconds, Donna, can I share something with you?
Yes.
This state is an economic dynamo. It has some of the greatest beaches in America. It has amazing diversity in city and rural, the ocean, but it also has amazing numbers of human beings that have the economic mindsets, the skill sets, the professional licenses to do remarkable and incredible things. So if you would grant me a meeting at some point, I would love to share more about why this, if you keep an open mind, why this great state of New Jersey, since the depth of your connections is here, and I'm hearing a vision and a mindset to do a lot more in the world, and heading out of here and in the great migration away from places like New Jersey and California is going to leave this extraordinary void and, quite frankly, leave enormous amounts of your relationship capital, your identity, your teammates potentially, in creating impact and change and further fulfilling your mission and purpose in this world, Donna, behind in ways that I don't think make any sense. And I get there's tax problems, I get there's all sorts of issues that are present, but this state needs you. And from this state, I think you need it. It's where your heart, your identity, your relationship capital lie. I'd be happy to lay out a blueprint and plan of why I think it would make more economic sense, more heart sense, more impact sense for you to stay in the state of New Jersey. Can you keep at least an open mind to that concept?
I always have an open mind, and you, Elizabeth, and I could take that plane anywhere and have that conversation, and Bella too, and Michael and Jay, because there is a lot of good work to do here.
Yeah.
And I've seen the numbers, because once you see the numbers, and I talked to people from NJ Transit. I'm like, I'm in Northern New Jersey. Why can't I easily get down to the beaches in Jersey? And he goes, why would we want you there?
Yeah.
Why would we want you there? I say you.
Lots to talk about. So let's pause there. Out of roll. Jay, how do we do?
I think you did excellent. It was interesting to see the dynamic change. You definitely changed your tone right in the beginning. You started off with a little bit of like more emotional connection, trying to get Donna to be like, understand where you're coming from, get to the same, I guess, thought process. Then the conversation went a little bit sideways sometimes. So like you did try to pivot back to the original conversation, which was the topic at hand. So you did do that, then mentioned a bunch of things about the future, and then closed with I call it a zinger, like a closing line, where of course with the follow-up being like, back to the emotion, softer tone, let's talk about it at a future time. I know you could be, a huge asset to the state of New Jersey in the future, pitching the idea of future again.
Yeah.
Solid.
Well, thank you, Jay. Elizabeth, how did that resonate or not for you?
It completely resonated with me. I think you honed into her soul, and I think that you were paying a lot of attention to what she was saying to bring it back to her in terms of what impacts her life. And I think that by doing that, I think it was just so clear that that's where, she wanted to be, or you convinced her that she wanted to be. But I think by really listening to what she was saying and giving that back to her, you helped her make that, what I would likely be her decision, which is to stay where her roots are and where her soul is, where her passion is.
Oh, well, thank you.
I might be a snowflake.
Hey, Belle, I got to check in with my boss now. So my boss, Bella, how did that work for you?
Absolutely extraordinary. I love what Jay was sharing. And to me, it's always, masterful when you can navigate in and out of the conversation with, different tones and connecting with, what you call the four energies, the Zeus energy, the goddess energy, the aspirational energy, and the fun energy, to cause that influence, to cause that yes. And I felt that, Donna really felt heard, seen, and understood. And so it was absolutely magical.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we appreciate everybody being here today. Michael, thank you for sharing your wisdom. I love the advice and feedback of responsiveness and talking to folks. And don't trust anybody. I love it. Have faith in God and tie up your camels. So, Michael, thank you for being here today. And how was your time with us on the Real Raw?
Sorry, how was my time?
Yeah, how was your time with us today?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, enjoyable. Interesting. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't know what this was all about, but very interesting.
Well, thank you. Well, Michael, I'd love to go to the Chegg with you and go surfing with you. So look forward to a fun future. What do you like to do on LBI, by the way, Michael?
You know what? When you go over that bridge, it seems like all the stress just leaves you. You go over the bridge onto the island, you stop thinking about work, and it's just very relaxing. And as you know, it's a very family-oriented place. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Long Beach Island, but there's virtually no public facilities like public parking or public bathrooms. So you don't get the day trippers. It's more just homeowners, and it's a pleasant place to be. And just enjoy going out and eating dinner and look forward to it.
Yeah. 200 meters from right here, that grandmother, when I describe my grandmother, that's a real person. We call them Nani and Pop. And in 1975, they sold their primary residence in Jersey City. My grandmother and grandfather never made more than $25,000 combined in any year. My grandfather worked for public service, in sewers and things until he went blind. And my grandmother and he figured out a way to put 5 kids through Catholic grammar school and high school. and to buy a house down here in 75. And to me, they represent truly the greatest essence of what life in this country is about and the great state of New Jersey is about. And we're unbelievable models. So, Michael, thank you for bringing up LBI and for being here today.
That was some coincidence.
Yeah, thank you. Jay, love the feedback, dude. Very astute, in-depth, looking at all the dynamics of emotional shifting, matching, mirroring, and all of it. Thanks for being here today. And how was your real raw experience?
No, it was great. I learned a lot. Noticed that I don't know how to do cold calls or try to get to the yes. I mean, typically, I already get that warm lead. So when I answer the call, I say, "Hi, how can I help?" And they're ready to then go and explain to me. And it's a mutual pitch versus me trying to get them to see my idea. So it was a different approach because I've never, thank God, and maybe in the future it's a little different, but I haven't had to do a cold call and try to convince someone of my opinion because it's just, that's the way my projection has been. So it's interesting to see a different dynamic and a different way of doing this.
Yeah. And Jay, by the way, please, the dynamic of what we talk about and teach is certainly related to influence and what you do with it and how we emotionally get ourselves to apply it with integrity. But what we teach and talk about ranges from how I created 2 top 100 national jury verdicts and disrupted jury verdict consulting processes for some of the top people in the country, selling from stage, raising massive amounts of money for charity, recruiting teammates, creating alignment of team, marketing elements, sales elements. So we just, happen to have a couple of scenarios asking people to do some different things that came up today. But my work in the world is definitely not just about cold calling. I mean, that would be 0.01% of the space that we operate in. It is how you build, grow, scale relationship. And what we say is Unblinded is about leaders causing leaders to lead leaders, like the causing of leadership, and bringing people together to merge ecosystems to create resource combinations for 1 + 1 = 1 trillion relationships, as Donna said, or at least more than 10, something larger than 1 + 1 = 2 to make the world a greater place and solve big problems. So thank you for being here today and the support, and certainly for your quick wit, insight, and brilliance, which are obvious.
Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth, thanks for being here. How was your time in the Raw?
It was great. I feel like I made like 5 dynamic friends today. And I learned a little bit from everyone. I thought it was really interesting in terms of combining us and just talking. So I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. And the idea for the Raw we created, we're a live event enterprise. I own a law firm with 125 people, but Unblinded, works in all different verticals, professionally and otherwise. And when the pandemic hit, it was like, now what? And so as a way of relating to and meeting new people, we've run a Real Raw virtually every single day and sometimes twice a day since the pandemic began. And thank you, Elizabeth, for being a part of that legacy.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Donna, love the insight, the thought, like the yearning of like making beautiful change happen in the world. How was your time with us here today, Donna?
Oh, like Elizabeth said, I have new friends, new people in my circle. And it's funny because Michael's in River Edge, about 10 minutes from me. I'm in Old Tapan. And Jay is River Edge, I think, is close to me. So I might actually see them on Kinderkamak Road.
I'm a little closer to you. My office is in River Edge, but I live in Saddle River. So.
Oh, you're even closer. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, and Elizabeth, I look forward to, and it's funny because I've spoken to so many people, and recently when you talked about foster care, blind, and when you talked about bad actors and financial, people, the lying, these are all things that have been on my plate in my conversation for the past year. So it's interesting. So I always think things are meant to be. So I'm glad I was here.
No, thank you. Bergen County guy as well. Live in Rivervale. Went to Emerson.
You live in Rivervale?
I live in Rivervale.
Oh, so I could drive by your house as I go to Lifetime Fitness.
Of course. And our office is in Paramus, New Jersey, right by Paramus Park and those Matt Cali buildings. And my uncle Jimmy, James Victor Bastek, was involved in one of the most tragic car accidents in Bergen County history. In 1998, Memorial Day weekend, on the way to Long Beach Island, was tragically rear-ended by a tractor trailer in front of the Garden State Plaza. It was on the cover of the Record for 2 straight days, and he lived in Saddle River as well, prior to his death. So thank you all for being here. Bella, final.
Final is, it was definitely an extraordinary show. And, I always remember back to the time when, we were sitting in Tony Robbins' room and he said that no one leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callagy. And I think you have demonstrated that here today and throughout your entire career. So it is just an honor and a privilege. And by the way, we want to invite everyone, if you've enjoyed spending time with us together, we'd like to invite you to spend another 30 days with us as our free gift to you to join us. Sean does a daily huddle every single morning at 8:30. The team's going to put a link in the chat to register for that. And we'd love to invite you to join us for the next 30 days.
Yeah.
Back to you, Sean.
It's Fun Friday. We appreciate you guys massively. If this is the end, you are truly heart-centered, brilliant, wonderful people from the great state of New Jersey. And P.S., everybody in the row is not always from New Jersey. We have people from all over the country and the world. We've had people from probably 25 different countries on the show. So we're very grateful for you being here today. And we truly believe that right in front of us is everything we need. I have a little fun saying, I may be blind, but I do think we're all blind.
And just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.
You've got this. Thank you, guys.